Hello everybody, I'm Count Christo and I bear tragic news, but fear not, because there is a solution. So, as you know, the best of both worlds was progressing well. We were in 1944, we had unified the German-speaking regions as well as all of the Balkans. Turkey was resurgent, we had won the African campaign. And then I installed an SSD into my PC, and I moved lots of things onto my SSD, including my Paradox Interactive files, and so I very studiously backed up my EU4 save files, and then I thought I backed up my HOI ones, but I didn't. So I have lost the save file for the best of both worlds, but we're not going to do it again, or anything like that. I'm just going to play through up to where we were off camera. I'm going to use cheats to make it easier, but I'm going to try and, just because I don't want to spend another, whatever it was. How many episodes did we do? 16. So that's like approximately, how many hours is that? It's like it's like 7 or 8 hours or something. I don't want to do another 7 or 8 hours of the campaign I just did. So I'm going to cheat a bit just to make things go a little faster and to make sure all the diplomatic stuff happens the same way it did in the actual campaign. My goal will be to create an almost identical scenario. Like, I'm not just going to cheat by giving myself loads of factories or anything like that. It'll just be to make sure, for example, Yugoslavia accepts their petition, just like they did in our campaign. And, you know, Poland gives us... Did Poland give us Danzig? No, we declared war on Poland. You know, Lithuania gives us Memel. All the kind of things that are kind of coin tosses. I'm going to make sure the coin doesn't always fall in our favour, but falls the same way as it did in the campaign. I hope you don't mind that. I will still, you know, fight the wars as normal. We'll have to kill Poland and Italy and all that stuff. Or rather, I will, because you won't see it, because I'm going to do it very quickly and then I'll edit this little intro on to the end of the first episode. Episode 19, this is, isn't it? When we're back, pretty much, to where we were. Basically, we will, when you get back in just a second, after I've done my task, we will once again control all of this, if you count our Turkish allies as controlling. Oh yes, and we'll also control North Africa as well. I have the screenshot on my other screen of where we'd got to, so I know what I'm building towards. I'll try and have, you know, roughly the same number of tanks and stuff. But it'll be very... I haven't got the save to load up and check exactly how many I had. It looks like we had 17 decent tank divisions, 11 trashy tank divisions. So by March 1944, we should have about 17 medium tanks. So I'll try and make it roughly the same. But anyway, it's a slightly overly long preamble to say, in just a moment, when things look familiar but different, you will understand. One thing I am going to do differently is that people told me that if you invite Austria, if you go down the focus that gives these people the non-aligned support, and then you invite them to your faction, they unify into Austro-Hungary and then join you by referendum. That sounds really cool, so I am going to try that. Thank you for telling me about that in the commenters. I'm terribly sorry, I've forgotten the name of the commenter that told me that, but that sounds really cool, so we will go for that. The only other difference, let's max buff USA as well, because, like, you know, it was too easy. It wasn't too easy, it's pretty tough, but we'll max buff the USA, just for some added challenge. I considered max buffing Italy as well, but I decided I couldn't be bothered. Apart from anything else, I'm going to be fighting Italy off camera, so we'll max buff, same people as before, Soviet, France, UK, plus the United States, which will give us a nice late game boss, and will give the Allies some more air power. Without further ado, sorry, 4-minute intro, but there you have it. I am going to play through as we did before, and I will see you once I have restored our wonderful best of both worlds German Empire. Just to give you some perspective, you think I go horrible border gore attacks when I'm on camera. You have no freaking idea. We got Poland quite a bit quicker this time. We got the Dutch again. I'm not going to correct what I did with the Dutch East Indies, because I think, you know, we should stay true to the original series. So we're still going to lose the Dutch East Indies after the Civil War, but that's okay. Yeah, things progressing generally as planned. I just wanted to show you this monstrosity. And Mitteleuropa is born. We are the junta. We took Poland and Romania. Romania just joined. We will then integrate the war economies, thereby getting a Romanian puppet and all the oil we will need. And then we're going to rush down this tree here. We're not doing Anschluss. We're going to rush down, secure Kaiserreich, return to the Kaiser, focus true enemy, rebuild, our place in the sun, the Central Powers, rekindle imperial sentiment. When unaligned support is high enough, enables decisions for these navals to reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire and join the Central Powers. At which point, I believe, we can make them become fully integrated into, like, Gross Deutschland, or whatever it's called. So that should be pretty cool. But there we go, our first proper member of our faction, Romania. Welcome. A nice... Finally. Okay, good lord, it's been a long journey. We can rekindle Imperial Senate. It's already 1940. Oh, God, I hate it when the map does that. Hang on. Fix yourself. There we go. All right, we're going to rekindle Imperial Settlement. Oh, good lord, message. Sentiment in these three. Let's do that. Right, okay, we've done it. We've rekindled Imperial Settlement. Sentiment, that is to say. So if we tagged over to Austria right now, I don't know how this works. Let's have a look. Okay, they can reform the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which requires all the following must be true. They get a request, if you accept to inherit all wars, request the Austro-Hungarian successor of the states to reform the empire. Okay, so Czechoslovakia has to have 40%. And if we tag to CZE, I believe. Yes. Do they have the same thing? They do, okay. And how much do they have? They've got... Ooh, it's going up fast, 0.2. Okay. So if we go back to Germany... Someone in the comments told me, by the way, when you tag around, you have to actually reload the game or you don't get any events, which is very good to know. If true. So I think we're going to manually... Can we do that? Oh, no, you can't boost popularity for non-aligned. Anyway, so hopefully, in, you know, a little while, they will go non-aligned, or at least they'll get to 40% non-aligned. Austria will send out the requests, they'll accept, the Austro-Hungarian Empire will reform, and then it will join our faction, and then we should be able to own the land ourselves, which will be very, very cool. And we'll get calls on it, I believe, which would be awesome. Meanwhile, we're working on our navy right now. We had a 50% bonus for heavy cruisers, so I thought I'd build a heavy cruiser. And we also have built some carriers. I'm just about to start inventing the planes we're going to put on these carriers, but we already have almost 3 carriers. The war is going to be even later, I think, than in the first game. Soviet Union's going to cede Memel to us. In fact, should we do that now? Oh yeah, we could also do a coup. I don't think they become a puppet, though, if you do this. So I think we'll just go to war with Mussolini instead. Meanwhile, I will want this for the 100% ahead of time on the level 2 super heavy battleship. And then I suppose we could do... There's not much point doing this. We can do West Wall. But then we're kind of getting there. Once we get the... There's going to be a long campaign. Just, you know, in terms of actual time, I mean, just to settle in on that perspective. Because once we get this completed, once we get Austro-Hungary in the faction, or no, actually annexed, we should bypass this. Where's the bypass requirement for this? Is this not bypass? What do you mean it doesn't bypass? Okay, the following will bypass. Austria does not exist. Okay, so we bypass this. We bypass this. We bypass this. We bypass this. And then we can immediately do demand all the same stuff we did against Yugoslavia, as well as... do we want to do Second Vienna? Not much more down here. So we do Yugoslavia and Greece this way. Then we do war with Italy, with our new border with Italy via Austria and Yugoslavia. And then we can head towards, like, Weserabong, that kind of thing. And that will trigger World War II. Or, we didn't help China, because I remembered it actually doesn't seem like... they're doing non-aggression pact with the Soviets. Oh, right, we're on historical focuses, so of course they are. We let them win because they were an excellent distraction against the Soviet Union in our last campaign. Not sure how that's going to happen, though, because we're going to get an Austrian aggression pact. Anyway, we will see how that plays out. So, we will keep focusing on these 3 and trying to get that number higher. We did a bunch of anti-democratic raids and stuff. We have very high party popularity, giving us lovely, lovely stability, beautiful times. So, see you in the next one. This actually is going to turn out to like a whole video, doing like the getting back to where we were. Oh. Okay, the Soviet Union just declared war on Finland, and unlike last time, we're not in a war. So we're going to send some pretty beefy medium tank divisions. Oh, I forgot to swap out the last bits. That's okay, we can do that as we go. I'm going to send some pretty beefy medium tank divisions to Finland and see if we can just hold Helsinki against the Soviets for a while. This is going to be fun. What? What? What are you talking about? We were crushing them. I was going to take Leningrad. Ugh. Ugh. They just conceded. Cowards. Cowards. Finland, you'll be made to pay them. So just to keep you abreast of world affairs, Japan just started a war with the United States. And then immediately, of course, you know, the United States not being in the Allies is going to immediately declare war on France and therefore the Allies. Very smart. If I were you, Japan, I would focus on, you know, the US. They are max buffed. They do have a lot of factories. They are on partial mobilization, have been for several years. I don't really fancy your odds looking at these numbers, to be honest, if I were you, Japan. But, you know, best of luck. Ooh, It happened! It happened. I don't know how it happened, because I don't know how Czechoslovakia went non-aligned. Czechoslovakia just hit 40%, and I was looking at them, and I was thinking, I don't know how they're not going to actually switch to non-aligned, because the decision required them not just to have 40%, but to be non-aligned. But they did it! They did it! Look! Austro-Hungary has returned. With our support, Austria has taken the lead in the reunification of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Treaties between the involved parties were signed this morning, undoing 2 decades of separatist sentiment. The now unified government immediately pledged their military support to our cause, becoming a member of the Central Powers. Our old ally has returned to our cause. What kind of focus do they get? They get a generic, partly filled out focus. I think that means Austria is the one that actually took the decision. Interesting. They get cause. Yep, they have cause here. Cause here. Man, that's cool. Okay, so Austro-Hungary. Austria-Hungary, rather, they're calling themselves. Welcome back. So can they now, like, how do we unify with them? Are they still AUS? Do they now have a decision? I'm going to look into how exactly they actually become part of our empire by looking at the event files. Okay, I figured it out. They are technically Austria, which means we can do the Anschluss focus. Which means we get this counts as Austria. I guess if like Austria conquered Italy or something and then Germany did Anschluss, would they get calls on Italy? Or maybe you only get Austrian calls, and in this case, Austria refers to the, you know, AUS tag, which is currently Austro-Hungary, hence all these calls. Nice. Okay, so this focus should get us all of that. That is going to be nice. And then we can start working on Yugoslavia. We can start our war with Italy. Life is... Okay, here we go. Let's see if it works. Please. Please, give me all of Austria. Historical focuses. They should say yes. Yeah. Boom. Oh, it's glorious. We got all these free troops. We've got a huge number of free factories in a single focus. What do you mean? We haven't bypassed the Sudetenland focus. We own the Sudetenland. I'm just gonna, I think, oh, do we have cores? We don't. We only have cores. Oh, that's a shame. We only have cores on Austria. But that's still cool. Still very cool. And we got all the men. Sorry, stop. Facebook, shut up. We got all the men from Czechoslovakia and Hungary, I think, because they all got merged into the Austrian army. So we've got all their equipment. That's awesome. I'm going to bypass the focuses that no longer make any sense. Just using the console, because obviously, like, come on. This is just something that wasn't anticipated by the developers. For your information, by the way, I said at the beginning I was going to use cheats to make things go the way they have the way they went in our earlier campaign. I have yet to have to do that, so I'm quite pleased about that. I'm going to do it for bypassing this Sudetenland focus, because, I mean, come on. In terms of our industry, we're sitting pretty. I'm very glad to have this extra space. Oh god, it's all full already, but we can put some synth refineries in here. Because until I got the latest industry tech, we were capped out on buildings. I've built lots of infrastructure because I had to. I've built lots of stuff in Romania. We have a mighty industry. We have 137 military factories and 74 naval dockyards. Not too bad. 150 odd civ factories, looking quite good. The Allied Japanese war continues apace which is very interesting. The allies, of course, are all max buffed, so I fully expect Japan is going to get absolutely annihilated, but it'll take a while because this terrain is not exactly conducive to major offensives. I considered sending volunteers to one side or the other, but I think I'm not going to do that. So I will see what our next focus is going to be. It looks like, I mean, do we actually need to bypass these? Like, these don't do anything, right? We can make the United Kingdom dislike us. We could use Czechoslovak gold to reduce the cost of MIFO bills. This doesn't sound very helpful. We don't need anything down here. So actually, we could just leave that as it is. Just go straight for to land Slovenia. So, Yugoslavia, give me Slovenia. Excellent. Of course, if they say no, that will result in war with the Allies, which would be interesting. I think if they say no, we just take it on the chin. Then go to war with Italy. Then go to war with Yugoslavia. Because... oh, by the way, Italy, are you going to make a faction? I think they will eventually take this focus and make a faction of their own. Because they can't take this. Because we're not fascist. But we're on historical focuses. So I think in 2 more focuses, they're going to make their own faction. At which point, I think Bulgaria may join. And nationalist Spain. Well, no, not nationalist Spain because of this. But that's ending in a year. So we might see an Italian faction being our first major war. Okay, let's see what they say to demand Slovenia. And I forgot, we're not actually going to need to... Hey, they do it. We didn't need to say, like, oh, if they don't accept, we'll do this. Because we were playing by the rules of what happened last time stays happened. Cool, so, first thing award. We're also justifying on Italy, which is going to be quite a tough fight, because they have a lot of men. But, Guderian under Rommel, which I know is the wrong way around, be gentle with me, is commanding 5 glorious 40-width medium tank divisions that are now trained up to, well, I could train them, yeah, okay, let's train them all the way to, whatever it's called, veteran, regular, is what I mean to say. I always get that wrong. They did just do claims on Bessarabia, Soviet Union that is, so they may justify on us at some point, but do we have a non-aggression pact with them? No. I thought we did that. No, anyway, doesn't matter. We've got some political power. We can't do extensive conscription yet, which is quite painful. Disbanding 600,000 troops from Austria-Hungary helped with our manpower situation, but I guess it's time to start filling out our high command. As before, we attempted to be reasonable with the Italians, but they insist on remaining under the fascist leadership of Mussolini. They are even going so far to attempt to form a faction of their own. Outrageous. This insult will not be borne. And war with Italy was declared on the 6 a.m. 20th of February 1942. The less well-equipped panzer divisions will deal with resistance in Dalmatia, Zara, and the southern Balkans, while the bulk... Oh god, my men are training. Never mind that. While Rommel, with his 7 elite medium panzer divisions, will tear through Italy proper. Roleplay aside, we will let them finish this focus before we capitulate them, thereby bringing Bulgaria into a faction with them. We could then also declare war on nationalist Spain, which would result in Spain being in a faction with Italy. We could then land in Spain and take them over. We're not going to do that, however, because it's not what happened in the main game. And I want to just try and recreate the main game as far as possible. Belgium joined the Allies, by the way, which is a bit annoying. How goes the war in the East? Still very stagnant, as is to be expected. Yeah, but Belgium joined the Allies, so we're going to have a slightly larger front with the Allies than we used to. But that's okay. We'll manage. All right, so I'll deal with Italy. How many men have they got? About 125. Shouldn't be a problem. We have a large air force. Large and well-organized air force, though I say so myself. So these guys... Oh, always good. There goes like 90% of the Italian armed forces. Italy, I gotta be honest. You don't have the best track record? That was embarrassing. 1.4 million casualties on the Italian side. Good lord, what was that noise? 1.4 million casualties on the Italian side, 32,000 on ours. And of their original, like, 100 divisions, they now have about 18. We're going to hold the line here until they finish their Italy first focus and form a faction with Bulgaria. Oh, we petitioned Yugoslavia, by the way. Until they form that faction with Bulgaria, and then we will crush Bulgaria. Neath our iron tread, make a puppet there. Magnificent. Okay, they did it. They formed the faction, the Novus Imperium Romanum. We can justify on you in a very long time, so hopefully Italy is about to call Bulgaria into the war against us, at which point I'm honestly just going to like let the AI decimate Bulgaria. And by decimate, I do not mean reduce by 10% of their size, or reduce to 10% of their size, or whatever the heck it actually means. I just mean destroy. Call in Bulgaria already. They're probably like scared, but they should do. Yep, barely a day later. There we go. Good. They've been called in. We will then verily crush them. It will be an absolute cakewalk because they have almost no men. We will need to call Romania into this war in order to actually do it. And there we go. Easy life. Now we can just rush Naples, crush across to Palermo, and that should be this war over. And there we go. Now we just need to complete this focus, get Greece under control, perhaps do a focus to get Turkey into the faction, or we might just be able to invite them, depending on what the Soviets do. And then we're pretty much in a good position to actually begin the war and be back where we were. The Romania ceded Bessarabia, by the way, and Bukovina, in case you were wondering. There we go. Slightly different Balkan borders. You know, we did have Hungary here last time. In fact, you know what? I kind of liked having Hungary here. And Slovenia looked kind of cool too. Should we release... Oh, Slovenia doesn't exist, but we could release Hungary. There's a lot of factories in here, but I don't know. I kind of like the Balkan borders a bit better when Hungary existed. Let's release Hungary as a puppet. There we go. Yeah, that looks nice. Do they get their focus tree still? They do, good. And we kind of want them to do that because they have the, what's it called? The joint, yeah, license foreign designs or something. They have some kind of focus that, oh, it's joint tank procurement. They haven't actually done it yet. That would be really helpful. Kingdom of Italy is once again our puppet. I made a Greater Albania. I think we had Montenegro last time. Greater Albania looks very nice on the map. So there we go. Croatia, Yugoslavia, Albania, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and there will be a puppet Greece. Will be how we will divide up the Balkans and the Kingdom of Sicily in my head anyway. They're going war with Greece. Well, they're a puppet, so they can't declare wars, but that's interesting. We'll beat them to it anyway with the carving up. Good, good, good. Getting there, getting there. Okay, and unless I'm mistaken, with the submission of Greece, we have reached the same diplomatic situation we were at the end of episode 18. So what I think I'm going to do is actually now... Are there any other focuses we need to do? I don't think so. I mean, we can support the Finns and stuff. But, I mean, you know, do dockyards, army innovations would be useful. But nothing else diplomatic I particularly want to do in the focus tree. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually end this episode here. And then the next episode, we will declare war on both fronts. And then go from there. I'm sorry, I said at the beginning of the episode we would have a proper episode after I got everything ready, but I kind of enjoyed showing you how the sausage was made, as they say. I have slightly moved the front line from previous, because this seems very ripe for pocketing potential, and I believe holding Krakow will allow us to remain in control of all of these lovely, lovely factories. So, next focus... We should probably support the Finns, right? Because they go after... Oh, yeah. The Soviets are about to declare war on Japan, by the way. And Japan is getting absolutely massacred by the United States and France. No wonder, considering they're both buffed. So we'll go after the Soviets first. And then I suspect the Allies will come... Yeah, don't they have war with us after that? They've got the Prussian menace all ready to come after us. But that... is a very pretty diplomatic map mode. We will see what we can do. I may at some point do... Well, yeah, we have to do anti-Comintern pact if we want it to be a defensive war, which was kind of fun last time, having it being, you know, the whole anti-Comintern pact worldwide, tearing apart the Soviet Union. Yeah, okay, no, I'll keep this video going a tiny bit longer. I want to do the anti-Soviet pact so that we can start the war the same way we did last time. That seems fun. Okay. So... Nationalist Spain has declared war on France, which is interesting. They're in the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere, and Japan's about to capitulate. Are they a major? Or are they just gonna, like, cease existing in a second? Yeah, they're not a major. So as soon as Japan capitulates, that's gonna end them. Japan is actually not that close to capitulating. They keep holding out in this area. This whole region fell to, like, I think it was... Canada that actually had the occupation, but then they got it back again. Obviously, China has fully fallen. So I think I'm going to send volunteers to France, if they'll have them. We'll see. Because I don't want nationalist Spain to kill France, just because all France's men are away in China. So I'm going to send some volunteers to France and trash nationalist Spain. The way I see it, our guys are here practicing, right? They're just learning the land. The tanks are just practicing pushing through all these French forests so that when they come back with slightly different motivations to pushing back the nationalist Spanish, they'll be, you know, in shape and know the land, lay of the land, that kind of thing. It works out. Okay, there it is. German Empire formalizes the anti-Soviet pact. So we are a member of the anti-Soviet pact. Finland, also a member. Turkey, also a member. Iran, Afghanistan, neither joined this time. Disappointing. Japan, I don't think can join because they're at war. But that's quite a few. Sweden, Norway. Who else can join? Some people like can't. Can Iran? Can Iraq join? But anyway, Turkey joined, which is the main thing, and the Soviet Union currently justifying on Turkey. This is not one of their justifications that prompts a demand. This is one of their justifications that prompts a war. So the second they declare war on them, we will invite them to our faction. War with the Comintern will commence, and we are on the way back to being in the same combat situation as we were before. If Turkey, for whatever reason, like doesn't call us in or it bugs out, because I think it bugged out in the last one, don't worry, we'll fix it, and it shouldn't be too big of a problem. We are, I believe, all garrisoned and ready to deal with the Soviets. I have quite a lot of men on this front, and we're going to have to hold with a pretty limited front line here at the beginning, because my manpower is desperate, as last time, because of course we haven't been able to come off limited conscription. I could have done this if I had the points stored up in various of the wars we were in. I think you probably could have done that against, well, how much do you need? 50%? Yeah, so we could have done that in the Civil War if we'd stored up a bunch of political power, but no matter. We will manage. We have massive port garrisons, mostly staffed by our wonderful puppets. They're producing so many men, I'm thinking of removing my divisions from the coast and just leaving it just guarded by puppets, because then we could disperse our men as needed on this front. Our tanks are performing very admirably in France, so I have high hopes that we'll be able to use them to really decimate the Soviets as they come to us. We've built something of a fort wall, but I will take West Wall next. I do want to take army innovations. We're going to take West Wall because I want to build a few more forts just to be happy and confident. We don't have much time after that, and of course we want West Wall finished by the time we go to war with oh good, they actually built the Italians actually had time to build the forts in Piedmont this time. That's lovely news. So when the Allies go to war with us, we want to have a fort wall ready so that we don't have to deploy too many forces over to this front. Of course, we could have let Nationalist Spain destroy them, but hey ho, where's the fun in that? All right, brilliant. Let's wait until this. Okay, there we go. Both Japan and Spain have capitulated, which I think should end the Chinese-British War. No, Siam is now considered a major power, so it won't actually end until those guys take them out. That is unfortunate, because my tanks are stuck in France until such time as the Greater East Co-Prosperity Sphere falls. This will be interesting. It will probably mean Spain is in the Allies, which will make the Allies harder to hold off. At the beginning on the Western Front, we have 40 days before the Soviet Union finishes their justification on Turkey. Whether they will declare immediately? Oh, there they go. France took 19 states, including Basque Country. Interesting. United States took 5 states. Democratic Party has been put in power in Yunnan, in Manchu, in China, in Xinjiang, in the state of Japan, in Spain, and in Menjang. And Republican Spain was liberated. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Very Castile and Aragon there. Nice. Cool. Well, we have a Republican Spain, a communist Republican Spain, and Spain, who are democratic. Spain, of course, being centered around Aragon here. Aragon, Catalonia. What was this area called when it was Islamic? When it was Aragon and Catalonia up here? I can't remember. Anyway, that's interesting. The British have taken the other side of this Suez... Sorry, not Suez. The Strait of Gibraltar. That's interesting. What else has changed on the world map? Of course, Japan kept their homeland. Didn't keep... No. What? They left them ruling the Republic of China, but France took the coast. Okay. Well, the Soviets could still declare on Japan, who are not currently in the Allies, but they would then join the Allies. That would be interesting. Okay. So, finally, time to turn our attention to the main big wars. The Eastern Front beckons. Our defences are not exactly looking that brilliant, but we will see what we... Oh, yep, there it is. The Soviet Union declared war on Japan, followed immediately by... Oh, Denmark joined the Allies. Yep, that's what I expected to happen. What? Okay, so Denmark's joined the Allies. Let's put some some expeditionary force tanks up there to deal with them when they actually join the war against us in the Allies. We'll want to crush through them, close the Danish belts and all that. Spain joined the Allies, okay, but where's the Japanese joining the Allies? That's what we're waiting for. We're also hoping for no Turkey joining the Allies. That would be annoying. Not the end of the world, but a bit annoying, because I liked having a kind of restored Ottoman Empire there. It was fun. Okay, US, once again, warmongers that they are. The Prussian menace, indeed. We've only fought 3 wars and, you know, coerced all of the Balkans into submission. Come now. We're not that dangerous. But yeah, the US is justifying on us, which means we must look to our Western defenses. They're okay, considering the French appear to have, like, no troops over here. They seem to all be over in China. So we will see. We will see. I think we'll be able to hold here. We could probably do with, as soon as this focus finishes, we are going to throw up some forts up here. But yeah, 2-front war. Okay, well, the Soviet Union has declared war on Turkey. They will not accept an invite to my faction. I think that will change, because they should lose neutral foreign policy in just a second. At least I believe they should. And then it will be the time for the great clash against Bolshevism. It took me a few hours to get this back to where it was, but we're approaching where it was. Once we're actually at war with the Soviet Union, I will end this episode, and then future episodes will be the normal, unedited content to which you have become accustomed. Why do you still have... He doesn't have neutral foreign policy. Alright, so he should be willing to join. No, he'd rather be a part of the greater East Asian co-prosperity sphere. Excuse me? What? The one led by Siam? Excuse me? You know what? You know what? Siam, dismantle your faction. When you lose a war, you should lose your faction. Turkey. They'd rather be part of the Allies. Fair enough. Who would like to be part of our faction? Finland? Finland is also... Right, so this is what I don't understand. The Soviet Union is now at war with... Oh yeah, they declared war on Japan and Japan's puppets, by the way, which they are crushing, unsurprisingly. So Finland, because they had the anti-Soviet pact thing, is now at war with the Soviet Union. Okay. Well, we can just invite them to the faction then. That works. Hey, Finland, we're doing a focus to support you right now. Welcome to Mitteleuropa. We stand tall. It's weird. It just doesn't seem to... Oh, I know what it is. I bet it's because the anti-Soviet pact focus fires an event for old Germany. But now, Finland's in. We'll join their war. It has begun. Glorious. Okay, see you in the next episode. This took a while. I hope you enjoyed it. But we're back. We're back to roughly where we were. We can redo the African campaign. That'll be fun.